Okay, so let us now see some of the examples of chemical reactions from daily life. So one example you have already seen, which is formation of curd. Formation of curd from milk. So what happens here is the sugar, which is lactose, this is milk sugar, gets transformed into a new type of substance, which is lactic acid. Lactic acid. This is found in curd. And this process is facilitated by a bacteria. The name of bacteria is Lactobacillus lacti. Name is not that much important, but we should understand that it is a process of chemical reaction where lactose of milk gets converted into lactic acid. So one substance, or the initial substance, loses its identity completely and forms a new product. Second example can be rusting of iron. Rusting of iron. What happens here is iron in humid atmosphere when iron is kept in humid atmosphere, it forms rust. Now rust is basically oxide of iron. It gets converted into oxide of iron. This is called rust. It is brown in color, very brittle, and iron, which is very shiny and very strong. Now we can see that the initial substance, which was iron, is completely transformed into a new substance, which is oxide of iron or rust, and hence again it is an example of chemical reaction. Another very common example is fermentation of grapes. Fermentation of grapes. Now it is the process through which wine is produced. What happens over here is the sugar present in grape gets converted into alcohol. Now you can see that initial substance is changing itself into a completely new substance. Again, a chemical change and chemical reaction is taking place in this process. Now this process needs assistance of yeast. The process is carried in presence of yeast. Another example from daily life is the process of respiration. What happens in this process is glucose in presence of oxygen gets converted into carbon dioxide, water, and also it releases energy which is required by our body for its proper function. Now we can see that initial substance is getting transformed into completely new substances, and hence it is again a chemical reaction. Now there are several other processes also. For example, photosynthesis is also a type of chemical reaction. Cooking of food is also chemical reaction. What happens in cooking of food is the cooked food is very soft, its texture is different, its taste is different, and hence there must have been some changes in its structure, in its chemical nature, and hence it is a chemical reaction. The process of digestion is also a chemical reaction. lots of chemical reaction takes place during the process of digestion. So we can say that it is also an example of chemical reaction. So now these are a few examples that we may or may not encounter in our daily life, but it is happening around us. Okay, so in the next class, we will see some of the examples of a chemical reaction that we can perform in the controlled environment or in science laboratory.